Very good morning to you. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Today is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234, coast to coast. To kick things off, meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike. So we're dealing with decent temperatures, nice sunshine on the West
Yeah.
Coast in LA, 53 degrees right now there.
Ah,
Not so much on the East Coast where it is currently
no.
21 degrees northern New Jersey, but it's going to get down to the low single digits tonight.
It is. It gets even colder. If you thought this wasn't cold enough, oh, just wait till tonight. Another round of chilly weather is headed toward the East Coast, and that brings back another round of frigid air with wind chills that are currently in the single digits. It actually gets colder for tomorrow. Well, there's not a lot going on due to all of that cold air. What you see here, that pool that looks like it's invading from the north, that's actually the cold air, because at this hour, since the sun isn't up, the satellite measures temperatures. And when the temperature is that cold, it actually thinks it's the cloud tops that are moving across the Midwest and out east. That's how chilly it is right now. So yes, it stays very cold through the middle of the morning, and it stays quite chilly into this afternoon. With that cold weather sticking around today, we have plenty of chilly weather on tap through this afternoon, and it will bring back another round of cold air, even for places out east. So we look out west, where the weather is fine, stays nice and dry through this afternoon. You see all of those clouds working their way in to the Pacific Northwest, but I think we'll stay nice and quiet going into this afternoon and remain so into the end of the day. There is a big round of heat coming in out west, though, that eventually moves in and takes over into this afternoon and really for the rest of this week. And that's what you see here, this large area of red that'll give us our good chance of above average temperatures for most of California up into the valley and spreading eastward over the coming days. So plan on some warmer than average weather, even down to the LA area, not exceeding records, but there's that wind off of the water that'll make it feel a little warmer over the coming days. We'll take another check of your forecast, what to expect out east with that cold and when it wraps up, because there's the threat of another round of big snow for most of the East Coast this upcoming weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes, Ken.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Big snow. Ooh, two words I'm not too happy about together. But we appreciate it. 18 degrees northern New Jersey. It is 14 degrees in Trenton, out on the West Coast again. In Los Angeles, it is 53 right now. I know I have my friends in LA right now. I have a friend in Brentwood who's saying that it's cold here. I know. I used to live in South Florida, but just think about it in terms of us on the East Coast. That's all I could say. In terms of traffic, we have some issues going on. In fact, let's go to the Garden State Parkway right now, if we can, Pam. Right now on the Garden State Parkway, we have a crash reported, and this is local lanes affected northbound south of exit 127, Route 9 and 440 in Woodbridge. The second from the right lane is blocked, and that is causing the issues you see there. We also have a down pole on Route 23 southbound, Stockholm Vernon Road in Hardyston Township. All lanes are closed there. Delays on the turnpike right now, outer roadway by Newark Liberty International Airport, 1 and 9 in Elizabeth. That is just due to volume. Then we have some bridge issues to talk about, many of them involving the connection between New Jersey and Philadelphia. So speed restrictions at the Walt Whitman Bridge, the Commodore Barry Bridge, Ben Franklin Bridge, and Betsy Ross Bridge. All of that because of icing. It is so cold, and you had melting of the snow that we had over the weekend. Now it refroze into black ice. So because of that, those bridges connecting New Jersey and Pennsylvania all have speed restrictions. So please pay attention to that. We don't want anybody getting hurt. In terms of your Hudson River crossings, we take a look at the Holland and Lincoln, both reporting 20 to 25 across. The GWB upper and lower levels right now, smooth as silk. Nothing to worry about right there. Only 15 minutes in. GWB upper and lower. Over to the West Coast we go. We have a traffic hazard reported right now, and this is in Santa Fe Springs, eastbound 91 by Pioneer. Also, we have an Altadena. We have a collision. This is involving several vehicles. No injuries, fortunately. It's on I-5 South by Sunland Boulevard off-ramp. It is 5 minutes past the hour now, and today eyes in New Jersey are on Mikey Sherrill, who's being sworn in as the state's new governor. On New Jersey, we'll have live coverage all day long, starting this morning at 10:30 Eastern Time, bringing you moments from the inauguration and reactions across the Garden State. Cheryl promised that one of her first acts as governor would be to freeze utility rates that are among the highest in the nation. She's also pledged to tackle issues ranging from children's online safety to affordable housing. Be sure to tune in as On New Jersey brings you hour-by-hour updates, key speeches, and insights from political leaders and community voices throughout the day. 6 minutes past the hour right now. And in terms of other news, we had a big national football game for those who haven't been paying attention. Yesterday, Indiana made history by defeating the University of Miami 27-21 to win the college football playoff national championship. President Trump was on hand and received massive cheers from a crowd of nearly 70,000 onlookers at Hard Rock Stadium. The Hoosiers finished a perfect 16-0 season, securing the program's first ever national title. The deciding play, and there's President Trump right there, the deciding play was by Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza, who sealed the win with a gritty 12-year-old touchdown run on our 12-year, don't know why it's saying that, 12-yard touchdown run. Autocorrect fixed that. And that is, it was on 4th and 4 in the final quarter. Interesting little tidbit about Mendoza, by the way. He applied to the University of Miami, and they refused to give him a scholarship. And he's a local. He's from like blocks away, which is why he ended up going to Indiana. Well, it all worked out. He, and by the way, the coach of the University of Miami, both attended Christopher Columbus High School, a private school in South Florida. From the same area of Miami. We say congratulations, Indiana, and to young Mr. Mendoza, who has a bright future in football for sure. 7 minutes past the hour on the West Coast. It was a day that should have been peaceful, but in Los Angeles, yesterday's MLK Day parade experienced several brawls, ugly ones too. This one was at Leimert Park and involved a stabbing. There was another one at the intersection of Crenshaw and Martin Luther King Jr., and that involved a Latin gang beating up a white man. It took police over 20 minutes to respond to that as the victim was left in the middle of the street, literally looking lifeless. And there was yet another brawl that broke out near McClung Drive and Stocker Street, not exactly the peace that MLK was espousing. Back to the East Coast, New York's most prestigious museum by far, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, will become a union shop. More than 3/4 of the staff voted to unionize there, meaning a number of people will likely be laid off in order to compensate. And you can expect to pay more for everything from admission to tours to items at the gift shop. That's what people don't think about when there's a mandatory raise involved. Workers organized for more than 4 years, pushing for higher pay. And the nurses' strike continues in New York. Nearly 15,000 nurses at major New York City hospitals remain on strike in its 9th day as talks stall. Strikers at New York Presbyterian, Mount Sinai, and Montefiore are demanding higher pay, more staffing, better benefits, and safety protections. Negotiations have been ongoing but became stagnant late last week. Hospitals continue operations using traveling nurses while that walkout continues. Those of you into fashion, legendary Italian designer Valentino Garavini has died at the age of 93 in Rome. Valentino was famous for glamorous high-end couture and the signature Valentino red gowns. His fashion house was founded in Italy in 1959 and became a global symbol of elegance and red carpet style, dressing royalty, Hollywood stars, and even first ladies. Well, the Pentagon has ordered about 1,500 active duty soldiers to prepare for possible deployment to Minnesota. Local police there have proven to be ineffective against violent mobs. The troops come from the Army's 11th Airborne Division. They're located in Alaska, and they are trained for cold weather operations, perfect for Minnesota's cold winter. And today is exactly 1 year since President Trump took office. Regarding Greenland, the president has now linked his policy stance on the territory to his chances of winning a Nobel Peace Prize. He says, who else could solve all these crises around the world, ending 9 different wars, and still not even coming up on the radar for a Nobel Peace Prize? No other president in history came close to that. Well, the comment came as tensions mount between the Trump administration, Denmark, and Greenland. Denmark is the parent country of Greenland. Greenland's a territory of Denmark, although they've been getting their independence gradually from that European nation. The president has made it clear that Greenland is a crucial territory for the United States to stay safe from potential Russian or Chinese aggression. Denmark already signed a treaty with the United States over 80 years ago, granting an expanded military presence in Greenland as the U.S. deems necessary. So we can just expand there as we'd like without having to take it over. But the idea is to send a message to Russia and China. You try to send something over Greenland, you're sending it over U.S. territory. It is 10 minutes past the hour. U.S. Central Command, or CENTCOM, announced on Saturday that a leader affiliated with al-Qaeda, who had direct ties to an ISIS terrorist responsible for killing 2 U.S. service members and an American interpreter back on December 13th, was himself killed in a U.S. strike in northwest Syria on Friday. Bilal Hassan al-Jassim was an experienced terrorist leader who plotted attacks and was directly connected with the ISIS gunman who killed and injured American and Syrian personnel last month in Palmyra. That was in Syria. CENTCOM launched large-scale strikes in Syria in response to the attack. And a U.S.-based activist group, the Human Rights Activist News Agency, reports over 3,900 people were murdered for protesting in Iran. Protests there began as the economy collapsed, leading to widespread unrest. International observers continue to monitor human rights concerns tied to that unrest. The Justice Department is investigating Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey over an alleged conspiracy to impede immigration agents. Federal authorities are trying to determine whether officials in Minnesota interfered with immigration enforcement when they told people to record ICE agents for future potential prosecutions. Some threats there. And they told citizens to call police and alert others when ICE officers were in neighborhoods. Both would be considered obstruction of justice, and federal charges could be brought against both so-called leaders. Coming up on 13 minutes past the hour, when we return, meteorologist Mike Favetta will return with your full Garden State and West Coast forecasts. Plus, we're taking your calls. Give us a call. Let us know how you feel and comment on the stories we're reading. 888-658-0234. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato, now live on the East Coast and the West Coast. We're coming right back in 2 minutes. Don't go away.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
And welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Tuesday, live in New Jersey and New York. And now we are in Los Angeles. We say welcome to you folks on the West Coast. It's good to have you on. Excuse me for looking to the left, just double checking something on the computer. But it's good to have you here. It is 15 minutes past the hour. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta as the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike. So bitter cold. The long range forecast, I saw your long range forecast for New Jersey. It's going to be bitter for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
Nighttime
it
lows are
doesn't
really
seem to
cold.
quit. Right, and this is the part where you kind of get your head ready for the cold, because usually this is when we see the coldest part of the year, and late January into early February, and it's arriving just on time. So given how chilly it's been so far toward the end of fall and then right through the end of December, and here we go now toward the end of January, the chill is upon us. And with all this cold weather around lasting through today, it keeps our skies clear so we get beautiful sunshine this afternoon, but it's not going to do anything to warm us up. In fact, the clear sky actually creates an even colder start to the day tomorrow. So with all of the light winds around, we have no delays at the airports due to weather at 7:16 this morning along the East Coast, right from Boston down through Atlantic City and even further down through Philly and DC. We're running okay. So with all of that clear sky today, it brings back another round of chilly weather tomorrow, as most of the moisture stays well off to our north and west. So it's this polar jet stream that is starting to edge its way down into the northern sections of New Jersey into today and tomorrow. You can even see where the subtropical jet stream is, which is usually over New Jersey. That is spread all the way down to Florida. If you saw some of the video over the weekend, we had snow in New Jersey, they had snow in Florida as well. That's how cold it was. But that warmer weather takes over across the West Coast for most of this week as that high builds in and allows for a warmer trend out west. It will be the coldest weather, however, so far this season into the Northeast as that chilly weather drives down from Canada into today and tomorrow. And it's all due to that Arctic blast. This is direct from the North Pole coming on in down to New Jersey going into this afternoon and tomorrow. As far as the next few days, like Ken said, it doesn't really quit. It's just round after round of cold weather that keeps moving into New Jersey and the Northeast for most of this week, all culminating with the potential for some accumulating snow this weekend. We'll give you those details with the Futurecast, Ken. That's coming up in our next weather update.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. It is 18 minutes past the hour now. We have some issues in terms of traffic. Let's start with the East Coast in New Jersey. We go to the Garden State Parkway. We have a crash on the Garden State Parkway local lanes northbound south of 127. That's in Woodbridge Township. And we have, let's see, I'm sorry, Pam knows what just happened. I just got to refresh, Pam. All lanes are open to traffic, but some delays through there. So there was a center lane closed. They've now opened it up. And they just spun the camera around to give us that dirty lens image. Sorry about that. We have a down pole on Route 23 southbound, Stockholm Vernon Road in Hardyston. It's Hardyston? Hardyston. Thank you. Hardyston Township. All lanes are closed. See, it's not just the West Coast I'm having trouble with. It's the East Coast roads, too. There are so many of them. Over on Route 4, we have an issue now in terms of delays. It's just volume, but making your way all the way to the GWB for about 2 miles now from east of Queen Anne Road and Teaneck. All lanes open, but a lot of volume delays. To repeat what we talked about earlier, all the bridges, the Walt Whitman, the Commodore Barry Bridge, the Ben Franklin Bridge, and the Betsy Ross Bridge, all of them connecting New Jersey with Pennsylvania. All of them have icing, black ice issues and conditions there. You are to slow down. There are speed restrictions in place. You will get a ticket if you don't pay attention to the speed restrictions. And we have a disabled vehicle now on the New Jersey Turnpike Western Spur northbound, just north of, let's see, of course, it just refreshed. Sorry about that. Northbound, just north of interchange 15E, which is 1 and 9 in Newark. The right lane is blocked. The crossings for the Hudson River right now, Lincoln and Holland both reporting 20 minutes. GWB, not bad at all, only 15 minutes across upper and lower levels. You can see it's wide open. And we go to the West Coast, not so bad today. Well, it's very early now, but in Los Angeles, we have just some weather conditions now to report throughout the area. Patchy fog in some spots to look out for. There's a report of a silver alert, a missing elderly person in the area of 2901 West Broadway, and that's in Los Angeles. We have a car fire now by the Angeles Forest Highway, mile marker 21.51. That is a car fire, once again, causing some brake checking through there. And we have a collision at southbound 5 at Paramount Boulevard off ramp. No injuries reported, but just be aware of that as you drive through the area. 20 minutes past the hour, and today marks an historic moment in New Jersey politics. Mikey Sherrill will be sworn in as the state's 57th governor, becoming the first Democratic woman to ever hold the office. To discuss the significance of this milestone and what it could mean for New Jersey's political landscape and priorities moving forward is On New Jersey's Laura Jones, speaking with Dr. Benjamin Dworkin, director of the Rowan Institute for Public Policy and Citizenship.
Ben Dworkin, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Laura. It's great to be with you.
Yeah. Governor-elect Sherrill is breaking with tradition. She's holding her inauguration in Newark instead of Trenton. So first things first, I want to kind of get your thoughts on that and what you think this choice is kind of saying about how she wants to begin her time as governor.
Well, I think she understands where she got a tremendous amount of support in this last election. Essex County, which includes Newark, delivered a plurality of 128,000 votes for Mikey Sherrill in the November election. That's 50% more than they gave to Phil Murphy 4 years ago. This is a Democratic county that became even more Democratic for Mikey Sherrill, and I think this is a way to acknowledge that support and to go to one of our state's cultural icons, the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, in order to have her inauguration.
Right, and then she's got the ceremony at NJ Pack, and then the ball, the inaugural ball gala, is at the American Dream. Again, it's feeling very intentional. Do you think that insiders in Trenton might pay attention? Do people who voted for her, are they paying attention? Some of the things I think about is, we have things in Trenton. I know the inaugural galas aren't always held in Trenton, rarely held in Trenton, in fact. But, you think about, Trenton's easy for everybody to get to. Like if people want to come down from South Jersey, do you think that is perhaps some type of a disconnect amongst the communities? Even though, again, Essex County handed her the victory, or was instrumental, and what do you think?
I think the fact is that the American Dream Mall is a giant facility. You don't have to worry about restricting numbers at all because everybody can come in. It's that big of a place. So this is what she decided to do. Yes, I think makes it tougher for those of us in South Jersey to make the big drive up to north if you were going. But I'm not sure any regular person who's not really involved in the campaign, or in this case, the Democratic politics and the incoming administration, is really going to care one way or the other.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Mikey Sherrill, his becoming the second ever woman elected as governor of New Jersey and the first Democrat female to hold office. So can we talk a little bit about the milestone it means in terms of representation and changing expectations in state leadership?
Look, I think it's going to be both challenging and exciting. It's exciting because I've got 3 daughters, and they're now going to know that they can see that women get elected. Women can run this state. So it's certainly an inspirational moment for a lot of people. And it looks like, hey, the doors are open regardless of your gender. I think it's going to be challenging for the new governor because, well, for a couple reasons. Being a woman is just part of it. But the Democratic-controlled legislature is very male-dominated, and we're going to have to see how that, whether there's any tension between the incoming administration and this very male-dominated institution that she's going to have to work with in order to pursue her agenda.
Yeah, right. The last female governor, Christy Todd Whitman, she had a no-nonsense approach with the state legislature. I covered it, and it was very interesting, fascinating to watch the dynamics. Mikey Sherrill is very different from Christy Whitman. But again, as Mikey Sherrill is stepping into office, what do you think her biggest priorities are going to be? Like, we know what she said on the campaign stump about the first thing I'm going to do in office, but I want to move past that rhetoric and really talk about the priorities and the reality of what it's going to be like.
Well, from a strictly logistical standpoint, our priority right now is to fill out her team. We still don't know who some of the key players are, and particularly not just running individual state departments, but also the key deputies in the department, the key deputies in her front office have not yet been named in public. So filling out her team is the immediate priority. But as soon as she takes office, the biggest priority is the budget. She's got 5 months to get the budget, which needs to be passed by this legislature uh, by June 30th. So to start with the July 1st fiscal year, she's going to have about just a month or so, 4 or 5 weeks, before she has to give her own budget address to talk about what she wants to do. And yet, she's going to have to find a way to manage both what people expect anywhere between a $1 and $4 billion deficit. New Jersey's constitution requires us to have a balanced budget. So all of that is going to have to come into play right away, and it's going to have to be done. This is not something that can be thrown together in a week. But these things are going to be the biggest priority for the incoming governor.
Right, because that inauguration day, she'll give a speech. There won't be a State of the State. That's more or less her inauguration speech will be like the State of the State. And then that next one comes February, March. And like you said, we are under constitutional mandate. We have to have a balanced budget by June 30th. So when it comes to other issues that she campaigned on, affordability, property taxes, utilities, how realistic is it going to be that she's able to move quickly, if at all, on any of these issues?
I think what we're going to see, what she hinted at, is this phrase she started using in the campaign, which was ruthless efficiency. We're going to see a real focus on that. We should understand that the incoming Sherrill administration is very different from 8 years ago with the incoming Phil Murphy administration. 8 years ago, Democrats were coming into power, that is, becoming taking over the governorship. After 8 years of Chris Christie, a conservative Republican, there was a tremendous amount of pent-up Democratic ideas and legislation, very progressive stuff that they wanted to do. That's largely been done now. What this administration, following the Democratic administration of Phil Murphy, is going to be focused on is efficiency. I think they're going to be looking to people like governors like Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania and Maura Healing in Massachusetts, very pragmatic governors, as role models for their administration. And it's less about the legislation and more about let's get this state to work well. People are going to be focused in this administration on waiting times, everything from permits to the motor vehicle lines that we all face.
Ben Dworkin from the Rowan Institute for Public Policy and Citizenship, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. So good to see you.
It's good to see you, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. In fact, the reason I'm umming right now is I realize I have my glasses off. Can't see a thing. Oh, there you are. Hello. Nice to see you. Now I can see the world just fine. It is 31 minutes past the hour, and this is Tuesday morning. Hope you're waking up nice and comfortable. If you're on the West Coast, you probably are. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will detail why with the full forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, it's amazing. I'm looking up thinking, why can't I see the teleprompter? There's a good reason. I took the glasses off because here I have this thing to get a little shine off my head. All
You're
the
living my
secrets, all the
dream last
secrets.
night. Or was it a nightmare? Because that was it. I thought that I had reverted from the LASIK I got 2 years ago and thought, now I can't see anymore. So that was like a flashback to, it's something that my wife holds over my head. She's like, what do you mean you can't find it? You open your eyes. You had the LASIK done. Come on, let's go. And so, yeah, it's Tuesday, but it feels like a Monday, but we're fast forwarding through the week.
Avec yay.
Maybe your eyes are frozen, right? Because it's so cold outside, so dry, brutally cold, and it's that dry weather, Ken, that lasts with us through the rest of this week. There's not even a chance of rain in the forecast as we head into the middle of the week. Maybe later tomorrow night. Overnight, might get a flurry, but that's about it. With this cold weather upon us, all of these clear skies that are off to our north and west, it'll turn wet midweek for the Midwest, but that system, it dries up by the time it reaches New Jersey. As we head into later on in the night, into tonight and tomorrow, you see the snow and rain that gets going is through most of the Midwest, especially over Minneapolis, over toward Chicago, even the Great Lakes and Buffalo, upstate New York, but a lot of it just dissipating by the time it reaches New Jersey, and that'll happen later on into tomorrow and Thursday with that persistent cold just coming back in for the remainder of this week. So good time to show you the futurecast because you may have heard there's a little bit of snow on the way as we head into the end of this week. A lot of that gets going across by the end of, say, Friday night into Saturday, because the main event likely gets going by Friday night across most of the deep south. You can see the icing there down through the Gulf states, and as it works its way eastward, look at what gets going through the mid-Atlantic later on Saturday. That likely spreads eastward and across New Jersey by Sunday. So it's a late weekend event that'll take over even into the long-range futurecast. You can see as we head into Friday and Saturday, where all of that moisture gets going, pumping in from the Gulf. You can see a lot of that spreading out toward the east. The heaviest, as of now, looks like it'll be just off to the southern parts of the state, but northern New Jersey could tap into a little bit of snow as well as we head into, again, it's a Sunday timed event. So your Saturday looks clear, but Sunday might have some issues if you're traveling or maybe going somewhere. Plan on the potential for some snow. It's still too early to give timing or specifics or accumulations, but looking at something going into this upcoming weekend, Ken. We're just a few days away from that.
No, Mike, not fair. Not fair considering what we just had, but on the East Coast. By the way, it is 52 now on the West Coast in California and Los Angeles. So they must be saying, oh my God, it's so cold here. Ugh. All right. Thank you, sir. We will check back with you in a little bit. In terms of traffic issues, once again, all of the bridges connecting New Jersey and Pennsylvania, Walt Whitman, Commodore Barry, Ben Franklin, Betsy Ross, all of them right now, icing conditions. We have reduced speed, so please pay attention to that. We have an overturned vehicle, Route 17 northbound near I-80 in Lodi. The right lane is closed. Disabled vehicle on the Turnpike. Express lanes northbound near exit 72 9W. In Leonia with a right lane block there. Up on the New York State border, we have a vehicle 678 southbound at exit A in New York right now, and that is a crash that's off to the side. So just be aware of that. Some brake checking going on. And also on the turnpike, we have another issue, Western Spur, northbound, north of the Southern Mixing Bowl in Newark. The right lane is blocked due to a disabled vehicle there. We have a down pole on Route 23 southbound by Stockholm Vernon Road in Hardiston Township. All lanes are closed. The Hudson River crossings all looking pretty good. 20 minutes at the Lincoln and the Holland. GWB upper and lower levels just flowing in right now. Look at that. This is the back angle. Usually you'll see some traffic there. It's only about 15 minutes in. My guess is this is when people start going away for the cold, to escape the cold in the New York area. They wait until about a month passes from the holidays, and then they take their week. So my guess is a lot of people are off because there really aren't a lot of traffic delays, not due to volume. It's just due to a couple of accidents. Over to the West Coast right now. According to the California Highway Patrol, we have a traffic hazard, and this is in the express lanes at I-10 and South Fremont. We have South LA, that was East LA, by the way. South LA reporting a traffic hazard at I-10 southbound. No, I-11. I didn't know there was an I-11. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Learning California roads. I-11 southbound at 1405 north 110. Okay, I'll figure out these roads. Sorry, that's South LA. Traffic collision, no injuries on I-10 by 15. So 10 and 15. That's a big interchange, that I know. So just be aware that that's in Central LA. And those are your traffic report, or your traffic incidents to report right now. 37 minutes past the hour. And on Wednesday, January 28th, there'll be a powerful gathering of women in Bergen County. It's a panel called Women for Women Today, Investing in Yourself. It'll be held at the Terrace in Paramus, bringing women together for an evening focus on time, money, relationships, and self-care. The woman behind the movement is T.H. Irwin, who turned her own decision to invest in herself into a growing platform that empowers and connects women across New Jersey. One of the panelists is on New Jersey's Lisa Marie Falbo, and she spoke with T.H. Irwin about the inspiration behind the event.
On Wednesday, January 28th, Women for Women Today, Investing in Yourself comes to the Terrace in Paramus, bringing women together to focus on time, money, relationships, and self-care. The woman behind it all is T.H. Irwin, who turned her own decision to invest in herself into a movement designed to empower and connect women across New Jersey. T.H., welcome. Tell us what inspired you to create this event.
I actually created this event back in 2012 because there was a career fair and there weren't any women at the career fair. And I went back to my boss and I said, I want to create something for women because they're not even coming to find a job. It's not even comfortable for them to come to a career fair. So that's when Women for Women was born. And now I have since refreshed it over the last 3 years as my own company and my own brand, Women for Women Today. And the reason for it is because women need a place to go where there's no judgment and they can be themselves and they can discover the opportunities and their capabilities and successes be recognized in one night only. But it changes everything. And I've seen it happen. I've produced this event more than 30 times already.
Well, I was at the event last year. I am honored to be on the panel this year. And just the way you put together the event from top to bottom, especially with your panels, you take so much time and care into it because you bring women from all walks of life, from all stages of life. And that's so evident in the other fellow panelists I've been fortunate to meet over your Zoom calls leading up to the 28th.
Yeah, you are among the mentors who wow me. And I call all of you my women who wow me. It's like when you meet anyone, right? There's a little magical spark and you're not sure what it is or how it is. You just know you want more of it. It's a positive in your life. It lights you up a little bit and it's very exciting. So the women who wow me are the ones who are on my panel, including you. And you just are so multifaceted, but still are 100% authentic. And I love the way that you have taken time to invest in yourself, which has allowed you to build this whole business of your own, including having 2 little toddlers and being a mom and a wife and all those things. But knowing who you are as a person is critical. Therefore, investing in yourself is really going to help you grow and then help your whole ecosystem around you.
Hey, when you are that busy, you have no time but to be authentic, because you have no time to create other personas for yourself, right? And lies. But thank you. I mean, I'm very humbled by your words, and right back at you, girlfriend, because I'm just in awe of everything you've been able to accomplish, especially coming out of COVID. I mean, you had an events business that came to a complete halt, and you did the pivot dance very well, and you came back better than ever.
Well, thank you. And, COVID isolated a lot of us. I was speaking with someone about that yesterday. It isolated us. However, it brought me and my immediate family so much closer. We weren't doing dinners before that. My kids were away in college. We were clocking 22,000 steps a day. And we had a lot of jokes and a lot of fun and a lot of nonsense. But that was like a gift, that time together. And then coming out of COVID, I just felt like I needed to bring people back together again. My events prior were 20,000 people in 6 hours, 200 people in 3 hours. And the energy in that room was what I was missing. And I couldn't be the only one missing it. And I knew that I had the capability and the skill to build it again. And that's exactly what I've done here with Women for Women today.
So what can attendees expect on January 28th besides your Dynamite panel?
You can expect to walk out so much taller than you were when you walked in. In terms of actual logistics, you're going to walk in and your name tag is going to have your superpower word written on it. And don't worry, even if it's not the ultimate superpower word you've chosen, it will get you thinking about what is your superpower as a person. So Lisa's is connector, mine is creator. We have a luminary, we have a motivator, we have a caregiver, we have someone resilient. And you're going to come and you're going to talk to other people who have the same superpower word. I just literally take you through 3 hours of engagement, growth, empowerment, inspiration. We have a variety of businesses participating, and our special thanks out to HSS for being our presenting sponsor, and Delta Dental New Jersey, our silver sponsor. And we love Give Back to our nonprofit, the YWCA Northern New Jersey. They just offer unlimited free resources for women that allow them to grow and learn and be safe every day. So you can expect to be in the right room and to have energy and magic happen that you have been starving for and don't even realize it. And this is not a networking event. This is a self-discovery experience. And that's really what Women for Women today is all about.
Where can people purchase tickets?
You can go to Women for FOR, so womenforwomentoday.com. You can use the code SHINE to get a discount on your tickets. Tickets are on sale, but the price goes up on the 28th at the event. So if you purchase at the door, the price will increase. It includes light bites, a cash bar, tons of information. You're going to leave this experience saying, I am ready. I am so excited. And those are some of the words that people write down on the board when they leave. How are you feeling now? Connected, empowered, growing, capable of anything. I mean, it's fabulous, fabulous. So if you go to Women for Women today, you'll see all of the details about each of the mentors, our sponsors, and all of the businesses that are participating here. And all the programming that goes with it. And if you have any questions, there's a spot there where you can send me a message.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming on here today and feeding my superpower word, connector, because I like to think that all roads lead to on New Jersey. And that's what gets me up in the morning.
Well, thank you so much again for having me. And I'm super excited to have you finally as our mentor at Women for Women today. And I hope to see you all there.
Thank you, TH.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. 47 minutes now past the hour. Taking calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast for your city.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, sunshine for the West Coast, chilly for the East.
But sunny. It stays sunny across the East Coast all throughout today. It's just going to feel like the Arctic, especially with so much cold weather around. We start off out west where the clear sky dominates and a little bit of a warm-up is on the way for you out in LA. Temperatures expected to be slightly above average this week as the mild weather persists. So we get this lovely high pressure that dominates the forecast and keeps most of the skies clear. But I think as we get into tomorrow and especially by the end of the day Thursday, get another chance of some rain that moves on in. Very light spotty showers and clouds that take us into the end of the week before clearing for the upcoming weekend. You see that clear out very nicely from north to south. Out east, there's another round of cold that sends a chill down your spine, brings back the frigid air throughout the middle of the week, even with the next chance of rain and snow that primarily dissipates by the time it reaches us, but even more cold air into the weekend, setting the stage for the potential for some accumulating snows. And you see those snows are right there. With the cold weather expected to be well below average the first week of February for all of the East Coast. Out west, it's above average, and that'll take us into the first week of February again.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Very cold here now. 15 degrees in northern New Jersey, 13 degrees in Trenton on the West Coast, in Los Angeles, 52. We will take that over near single digits anytime. Appreciate Mike. Let us check traffic right now. Really nothing major to report in the East Coast. We have the Hudson River crossings 15 minutes at the Lincoln, Holland, and GWB. We look at the camera there for the GWB. Look at that. It is rare that you see that at this hour of the morning. Like, is it Sunday and we didn't get the message? This is a good thing. All right, we'll take it any day. Well, Gmail is getting all fancy schmancy with AI tool Gemini offering lots of new features to users. Brand and digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher and through his website, fisher.media, is here to explain. Good morning, Fisher.
Good morning, Ken.
Well, Google, turning Gmail into a full-on AI powerhouse. Talk about the new Gemini features being rolled out.
Absolutely. Before we get to that, I will mention that Google is also going to offer you the opportunity to change your email address. So I've made reference to this. If you have high school quarterback star 101 at gmail.com as your email for the past 30 years. You'll be able to update that to something more relevant for 2026 and for your mid-40s. But what you were talking about, Google has announced new Gemini-powered AI features for Gmail, which now serves more than 3 billion users worldwide. Gmail, not the Gemini-powered AI features yet. A major addition is AI-generated summaries of email threads. When opening an email with dozens of replies, Gmail will now synthesize the full conversation into a concise overview of the key points. Updates also include upgraded suggested replies, an evolution of the older Smart Replies tool. It now gives context to generate more relevant one-click response options. Google is enhancing the proofreading feature as well, allowing AI to check grammar, improve conciseness, and make messages more polished. Some of these AI features will be enabled by default in users' inboxes, meaning people who don't want them must proactively opt out. And you can do that, and I'm just looking at my Gmail. You go over to a little sprocket on the top of your Gmail, that's the settings. You expand all of the settings, and you'll see something called Smart Features and Workplace Smart Features, and then you can scroll down and you can choose. Now, the caveat to this is that if you want to turn off the AI, you will also turn off things like the ability of your boarding pass be imported into your calendar from Gmail, or your online reservations of either an appointment to get your oil changed or a restaurant reservation. So they're packaging it as a kind of all or nothing. You've been used to these features for 20 years. Sorry, if you don't want the AI, they might go away. So some of the very easy things that you've been enjoying for so long are tied to the AI. Now, the new capabilities have been built on Gemini's integrations from last year. It's now Gemini 3. The rollout is going to happen in phases as part of the broader push to embed Gemini AI across all of their consumer products. So this will be rolled into Calendar and how it interacts with Google Docs and all of that, Google Drive. So you might actually be able to refer to a document that you were working on in an email. Now, some of these features are great. If you want to search, what was that plumber that I used 3 years ago? Literally, you could type that into a search and Gemini AI will search through all of the Google programs to find that for you. That also comes at a potential risk of subscription. So if you want some of these enhanced AI opportunities, you will have to pay a subscription price. Now, again, this move strengthens Google's position in the generative AI race, leveraging massive Gmail user base, we talked about it earlier, to compete against companies like OpenAI and Anthropic. So good opportunities for Gmail, but it's coming at a cost one way or another, privacy or money.
Yeah, well, whenever I want to search that plumber from 2 years ago, I look up butt crack, and that usually takes me right to.
Well, that's the plumber company that you actually hired, Butt Crack Plumbing.
Well, we used to work. Remember the engineer we used to work with many years ago?
My name came right to the top of my head. Nope.
He is deceased now, so we will make you rest in peace. Okay. Well, listen, in other news, scammers are striking again, this time piggybacking on last week's major Verizon outage that left thousands without service. So what is this latest scam?
Yeah, so law enforcement officials are issuing a public warning after receiving complaints about the scam targeting Verizon customers. It exploits Verizon's recent nationwide service outage. It affected nearly 180,000 customers all across the United States last week. And the company's legitimate announcement of a $20 account credit for impacted users. Scammers are sending unsolicited text messages and emails pretending to be from Verizon, offering the $20 credit as compensation for the outing. The fraudulent messages include malicious links that victims are urged to click in order to claim or redeem the credit. Clicking the link, of course, can lead to consequences of theft of personal information. Verizon account details, because they'll ask you to sign in to your account. Of course, officials advise, do not click the link. We talk about this all the time. I say all the time, if you get a link in an email or a text, just go to the site, especially in Verizon. You go to My Verizon app or you go to Verizon's website. It'll be communicated to you. You don't have to click a link. Now, you do have to redeem the certificate that Verizon is offering. But again, you do it on the website of Verizon's website, or you do it in the My Verizon app. So do not click a link that you get in an email or that you get via text. And we talked about this recently, Ken, that even if you get an email from your bank to check your balance, the Social Security Administration, whatever the case is, just go to ssa.gov or go to bankofamerica.com or whatever the site is, log in, you'll get the same information. You don't have to click a link, and that keeps you from falling and trying to decipher, is this email real? Is this actually from my bank? Is this an Instagram password reset email? Just save yourself some time and just go to the site or go to the app and it'll tell you the same information.
I have my mother trained so well now because she's 87. You know,
Mhm.
mom, and she's 87 years old. And I have now trained her so well not to click on anything ever that on occasion I will text her a link.
Mhm.
She now knows. She calls me before she clicks. Good
Smart.
mom. Good for
Yeah.
mom. She
Because a
won't
lot of
and
people
I
do
said,
that,
"Mom."
right? Is they'll
Right.
just send a link for you to check out. I mean, you and I do that all the time, of stories to
All the
look at
time.
and things of that. But yeah, I mean, if you get a link and you don't know who it's from, or if you're unsure if it's legit, call them or text back saying, what is this? Or I do that to you sometimes. I get a link, what is this? Oh, it's a story to check out. Okay, cool. Because maybe the preview doesn't pop up on the phone and you can't see what it is. So yeah, you got to be cautious.
Yeah. And by the way, I will stop sending you the mouse pornography links. I'm sorry. It
I
is
show it to Dexter. He doesn't, he's not into it.
Dexter's his dog, by the way. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's this proclivity I have. I just can't help myself. I don't know, but something about the mouse. Uh, but but no, we talked yesterday.
Mouse.
Of course, we were on. I used to work for them. Yesterday, we were talking on WOR radio in New York. We had you on, and we were talking about again password. I don't think we can mention
Mhm.
this enough. How often should you change your passwords?
Yeah, again, I think you should do it at least once a quarter if you can. But if you do have one of those password programs, Apple has one built into all of their operating systems. Chrome has Google Passwords. Of course, it's Google Passwords. And Samsung has their own. Everybody kind of has their own deal. You can create a very secure up to 26. I mean, really, it's up to more than that. I think 50 characters. But 26 is a great character count in terms of numbers, letters, and ampersands and at symbols and things of that. That's the best and that's the most secure. If you do that, you should be pretty secure for a long time, and you don't have to change it necessarily every quarter. And of course, two-factor authentication, adding that to it, so even if your 26-character password has been decoded, you still have an extra line of defense, the two-factor auth, which will allow you to get into your account, change your password right away. But
All right.
I will emphasize real quick, if you
we're-
ever
we're-
hear of a breach, change your password immediately.
Brandon, digital strategist Fisher, found on X and Threads with username at Fisher and through website fisher.media. Thanks for coming on this morning. Have a great day.
See ya.
We're coming right back.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Very good morning. It's 8 a.m. Tuesday, January 20th, 2025. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Lots of sunshine this morning, maybe a couple of clouds this afternoon. Very cold, though, with highs only about where we are now, 21 degrees. Then bitter cold tonight, lows to about 5 above. We head to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a check.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
I must have done something wrong, Mike. Pam is cutting me off. It's like, shut up, go to Mike already.
It's okay.
It's like
I mean,
it's like working
than,
with mom.
it's better than the system being frozen, right? Because it's so cold that you don't want things to just start glitching because it's so chilly. And you might die like, oh, it's too freezing. And because there is this chill in the air across New Jersey that has actual air temperatures right now at 7 degrees up in Sussex. That is not a wind chill in Newark. That is your actual temperature right now of 16 in Newark, 14 in Toms River, and 18 in Atlantic City. So from top to bottom, the state is frozen with a -2 wind chill reading over in Morristown, -3 in Sussex, 3 in Newark, 10 on LBI, and 13 in Cape May. Yeah, winter is here, and it's sticking around for the next several days without seeing much in terms of relief. Despite all of the sunny weather, it stays cold right throughout tonight and gets even colder by tomorrow morning. So here's all the clear sky that's around right now. We are bright and sunny through this morning. This afternoon, our highs, look at this, at the clinic locations here at all the Audio Nova clinics from Ramsey and Montvale, 20s for you, 19 in Mountain Lakes, 24 in Toms River. You can't go anywhere to escape the cold. It stays chilly right throughout tomorrow, with another round of chilly weather as well for Thursday into Friday. So as this cold weather lingers for the next several days, look at the futurecast, bringing our temperatures down into the single digits tonight, down at 0 actual air temperature, 7 a.m. tomorrow in Sussex, single digits in Morristown. All of this chilly weather lingers through tomorrow night, where we might get a few flakes and flurries, but that's about it. The air is simply too dry to support much of any moisture. Temperatures briefly make it above the freezing mark on Thursday, but come crashing back down again by Friday afternoon, back into the 20s. So we have cold weather ahead through the next several days, barely making it above the freezing mark, maybe one day on Thursday, setting the stage for some accumulating snow this weekend. We'll give you those details with the Futurecast, Ken. That's coming up in a few minutes.
Now, when you say accumulating snow, you're talking about my cousin whose name is Accumulating Snow. It has nothing
Yeah,
to do with the
right.
weather, right?
Of course.
I'm just saying, wouldn't that be nice? Accumulating, what are you up to today? Hey, listen, I know I go by the name Accum. Just call me Accum. All right, Accum. How's it going? Yeah, all right. I wish. That's in my sick, twisted fantasy mind. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate you as always, sir. We have very chilly conditions right now. It is 13 degrees in Trenton. It says 19 degrees here in northern New Jersey. Again, high only in the low 20s. Burr. But, there's always LA and South Florida. We could always escape there, or Hawaii. Those are the 3 spots in America you could escape to right now. In terms of traffic, right now we have an issue. Again, we've been mentioning this from when we were on the Mornings with Ken Rosato show on the West Coast. We have problems on all the bridges connecting Pennsylvania with New Jersey. Walt Whitman, the Commodore Barry Bridge, the Ben Franklin Bridge, and the Betsy Ross Bridge all have icing conditions right now and restrictions involving speed. You have to follow the speed limits because there's black ice and wind, and it could be very dangerous crossing those bridges, so please be careful. Disabled vehicle, Jersey Turnpike Western Spur northbound north of the Southern Mixing Bowl in Newark, and that is open to traffic, but again, delays. We have a crash. Pam just found this line of traffic on I-78 in the express lanes, and this is due to my traffic keeps resetting. Whoever's over at NJ 511, if you're watching, please get rid of the 4 bridges at the top because you keep resetting our traffic and we can't read our traffic on the air. We have a crash on 78 express lanes eastbound, east of exit 48, Route 24 West in Springfield. The left lane of 3 lanes closed. Crash at Newark Airport entrance ramp from 1 and 9 southbound in Newark, 2 center lanes blocked. And those people trying to make their flights, if you're getting off at 1 and 9 or from 1 and 9 into Newark Airport, there's a mess. So now you try to avoid that. If you take 78, that's probably your better approach getting to the airport than the 1 and 9 approach. That's a mess right now. And we have a crash on 287 southbound north of exit 12 in Bridgewater. 2 left lanes closed there. And on the turnpike, northbound by the exit ramp at Route 18, interchange 9 in East Brunswick, left lane is blocked due to a crash there. Boy, a lot of things happening now. All of a sudden, I think a lot of this is ice. Your Hudson River crossings, though, those are all pretty good. The Lincoln and Holland now 20 to 25. GWB upper and lower levels still good, only about 15 minutes. And as you see, just a little slow down the lower level there on the right. 8:05 now, and today, eyes in New Jersey are on Mikey Sherrill, who's being sworn in as the state's new governor. On New Jersey, we'll have live coverage all day long, starting this morning at 10:30, bringing you moments from the inauguration and reactions across the Garden State. Sherrill promised that one of her first acts as governor will be to freeze utility rates, something her fellow Democrat Phil Murphy could do right now. If it could be done, why isn't he doing it? Well, she's also pledged to tackle issues ranging from children's online safety to affordable housing. Be sure to tune into us here at On New Jersey as we bring you hour-by-hour updates, key speeches, and insights from political leaders and community voices throughout the day. RWJ Barnabas Health is organizing blood drives statewide to address critical shortages. Supplies are 40% below needed levels, made worse by a severe flu season. See, when people are sick with the flu, they can't donate blood. It's not that people with the flu need blood, it's that they are blood donors in many cases. And if you're infected with the flu, you're not allowed to donate the blood because that blood would then contaminate someone else. There'll be a number of blood drives throughout the end of February throughout the state of New Jersey. If you are 16 years of age or older, you'd like to donate blood, you can make an appointment online or by phone. If you've ever considered donating blood, please do so. 8:07, the New York Giants have finalized a 5-year contract with John Harbaugh as their new head coach. Harbaugh was the longtime head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, bringing a successful track record and playoff experience. Discussions over the organizational reporting structure delayed the signing slightly before the deal was completed. Harbaugh inherits a roster with promising young talent, raising expectations for finally turning the New York Giants into a contender. Well, during a podcast interview, ex-CNN host Don Lemon, always the opportunist looking for any kind of publicity, he didn't hold back yesterday while discussing President Trump's response to a protest that he allegedly took part in at a church in St. Paul on Sunday morning. Lemon and the rioters who invaded this private property, a Presbyterian church, prevented worshipers from their service in spite of being told by the pastor to leave. President Trump cited the law known as the FACE Act, another law known as the KKK Act, and said if convicted of violating either of those laws, Don Lemon could face up to 40 years in prison. So at first he was proud of the fact that he seemed to have taken part in this. Later he denied that he took part and said he just stumbled upon the crowd and just went in as a journalist. Here was Don Lemon's response.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy.
Interesting, because as a former Catholic priest, I didn't know that there were different types of Christianity. I just thought there was Christianity. I didn't know that one Christianity taught white supremacy and one didn't. Why were they white supremacists? And by the way, many of the worshipers in that Presbyterian church were of color. So I don't know where the hell he gets white supremacy when, by the way, he's a gay guy with a white husband. Interesting. Yet he hates white people and talks about white supremacy when it's convenient for him. Yet the same white supremacists that he talks about, they paid him $2 million a year at CNN to spout off and get drunk on the air over and over again. Didn't have a problem with white supremacy then, did you, Don? Yeah. Don used to work at Channel 5 in New York years ago when I worked there. Interesting character. Could be nice when he's sober. Well, Lemon said during the interview that the response to the protest reeks of entitlement. I don't know how it's entitlement when people are just there on a Sunday morning trying to pray. The reason why these protesters went in is they got word there were ICE people worshiping in that crowd. So if there were, you break into private property and interrupt prayer on a Sunday morning, which is sacrosanct? Really? You sick man. Go get some help and stop being such an opportunist. And with that sick bitch he was with during that, she is a sick bitch who has called for violence against people on the right and people at ICE. The two of them need some help. Really, pray for them. Governor Murphy signed new e-bike legislation on his. In fact, Governor Murphy did a lot of stuff on his last day in office. It's going to harm a lot of people. There is a new type of e-bike legislation that on the surface sounds great. The new rules require licenses, registrations, and insurance for e-bike operators in New Jersey. The problem is, if you ain't got the money or you're a kid and you have an e-bike, all of a sudden, you're going to have to come up with cash. It's funny how Democrats will say poor minorities can't afford to have ID to go vote, but now they're going to need ID to ride their friggin' e-bike. So they're going to have to get ID and insurance and a helmet and all these new rules, including minimum age of 14, in order to ride their e-bike. The action comes after a rise in e-bike use and related accidents, prompting calls for updated safety rules. Liberals are such hypocrites. The Coast Guard rescued 3 mariners from a sinking 74-foot vessel off Shark River Inlet. Station Manasquan Inlet crews and an Air Station Atlantic City helicopter responded. The rescue took place Saturday morning as the boat was taking on water and appeared to be sinking. The mariners were transported to safety, and Coast Guard teams are figuring out how to salvage the ship now and how this happened to begin with. New Jersey continues to be a production hotspot for films and TV shows releasing in 2026. The high-profile sequel, The Devil Wears Prada 2, was filmed partly using local New Jersey talent. The Bride uses historic New Jersey settings like the Newark Trolley Tunnel. Upcoming films like Paper Tiger and several Netflix projects were shot in Teaneck and Hoboken. The state's diverse locales continue attracting major productions. Los Angeles. And Governor Murphy signed legislation expanding paid family leave eligibility to workers at smaller firms. The law lowers eligibility requirements, including reducing tenure and hours worked before leave is available. Employees at larger firms can still take up to 12 weeks of job-protected leave to care for family or to bond with a new child. But now that law expands to lower businesses, that's a problem. If you own a pizzeria and you only have 2 employees, how are you going to afford to let a guy go for 12 weeks to bond with his wife and the baby when you can barely afford to pay the rent? That's what liberals do. They don't care if the business closes down, and now the employee is out of business. And Sunday marked World Snow Day, a global celebration of winter sports and snowy fun. Mother Nature was glad to comply in the Northeast. This was the scene at Mountain Creek Resort in Vernon. Up to 8 inches fell over much of New Jersey and New York, perfect for winter fun. And for those who are counting, spring is only 59 days away. Sorry, Pam. 8:12 right now. Sunshine this morning, few clouds this afternoon. Very cold. Highs in the low 20s and bitter cold tonight. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. We're back in 2.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15, taking your calls at 888-658-0234. Sunshine this morning, a few clouds this afternoon. Very cold, highs only in the low 20s. Bitter cold tonight, lows about 5 above. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
And Mike, before we start with the weather, let's take a live look at our camera inside NJ PAC in Newark, where Mikey Sherrill will be inaugurated less than 2 hours from now. Eyes in New Jersey for her. She'll be sworn in as the state's new governor, the first female Democrat to be governor. And On New Jersey will have live coverage all day long, starting this morning at 10:30, bringing you moments from the inauguration and reactions across the Garden State. But it's going to be a chilly one for folks. Hopefully they will bundle up as they make their way to Newark to see the inauguration, Mike.
It will. That's right. Good morning, Ken. Very cold weather with actual air temperatures down in the low teens, feeling like the single digits. Lots of sunshine today, but that'll just make for some sun glare. Probably won't see much in the way of a warm up, with temperatures climbing only into the low 20s. These are the highs for the day. So we're running about 20 degrees below our average. And with the chill lasting all through this afternoon, a little bit of a wind into this evening, making it feel cool again tomorrow. More of a gusty wind taking over from the south by Thursday. That will probably be the only day this week, on Thursday, that we get above the freezing mark. Every day after that and before stays right around the 20s into the low 30s at best. And then it's still chilly as we head into the weekend, waiting for our next round of accumulating snow. You don't even see the storm on the map yet, hasn't even formed, but what you do see is this little opaque white coming down from Canada. That's the cold air that's showing up on the infrared satellite, allowing for that chill to stick around for the next several days. Actual air temperatures, these are not wind chills, down in the teens for Friday into Saturday, setting the stage for some very cold weather as the snow gets going on Friday night well off to our south. We probably don't see any snowfall begin until Saturday night going into Sunday. And with that, you have, this really harsh wind chill that takes over for tomorrow morning, going into Thursday, and the rest of this week staying very chilly as well. Once we get into the rest of this afternoon, into, say, Thursday and Friday, we'll start to see the temperatures bounce back a little bit. But again, it's brief because another round of cold air comes in for this weekend, sending our highs into the teens only on Saturday. And then Sunday, there's that accumulating snow all day. And it's probably going to be a very fluffy snow with the amount of cold weather that digs in, making for some pretty chilly conditions. We'll talk more about that with a look of your futurecast for this weekend, Ken. That's in a few minutes.
The chilly conditions, that means conditions good to eat chili, right?
Oh, totally. It's a two-part word, double meaning. That's what I'm looking at. I need more coffee. Yeah,
Double
meaning.
entendre. Double
Yeah,
entendre.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And with onions and cheese, please. Thank you very much. All right, Mike, we will check back. And 2 hours later, sorry, we'll check back with you just a little. Mike is too good for that. He's just like, don't do that, Rosato. We'll check back. Thank you, sir. It is 12 degrees now in Trenton, 17 degrees northern New Jersey. Very, very cold. In terms of traffic, check this out. Let's go over to I-78. Pam is all excited by this because it's a mess. Sorry, all you folks on I-78. This is express lanes eastbound, east of exit 48, Route 24 west in Springfield Township. Left lane of 3 lanes closed, and that is the mess that we have as a result. So try to avoid 78 express lanes eastbound, east of exit 48, which is Route 24 west, if you can, at any expense. We should mention speed restrictions again, all related to icing on the roadways at the Walt Whitman Bridge, the Commodore Barry Bridge, the Ben Franklin Bridge, and the Betsy Ross Bridge, all due to black ice icing conditions. Please follow the reduced speed restrictions. We have a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike northbound exit ramp to Route 18 from interchange 9 in East Brunswick. All lanes open to traffic, but there are problems there as a result. We have a disabled tractor trailer. New Jersey Turnpike eastern spur, and with the reset, whoever's at NJ 511, please get those bridges off the top. We have, let's see, it's a New Jersey Turnpike northbound entrance by the interchange 15 WI 280 in Kearney. Left lane is blocked. Crash at Newark Airport entrance ramp from 1 and 9 southbound in Newark. 2 center lanes blocked, causing big delays there. Pardon me. And now we have a disabled vehicle, Route 73, northbound north of 295 Maple Shade, with a center lane blocked there. Sorry, folks, they keep resetting the traffic from the traffic center on us here. We have a 287 crash southbound, south of exit 14, Route 22 Bridgewater, with the 2 left lanes closed. And everything's popping up now. A lot of this is icing, so just be aware of that. Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland, been just wonderful today. Just about 20 minutes in. The GWB, upper and lower levels, also not a big problem. Now we're up to about 20 to 25. Because just after that overpass, there's a brake check as you make your way in. But that is not bad for 8:21 in the morning. And as Washington debates the future of the Affordable Care Act, many of the decisions being made on Capitol Hill have very real consequences for patients and doctors here in New Jersey. From insurance costs to access to care, primary care physicians are often the first to see how DC policies play out in real everyday life. Joining us now is Dr. Alexander Salerno. He's a primary care physician, and he's the founder of Nirvana Healthcare. We say good morning to you, Dr. Salerno.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks for having me today.
You bet. Good to have you on. And talk about your practice here in New Jersey. How many years you've been here and how'd you set up?
I've been in New Jersey 25 years. I'm a second generation. My mom and dad started the practice back in 1949. We're predominantly in urban areas, East Orange, Newark. We are in Bloomfield as well. Primary care, as you mentioned, I'm an internist. We are a little bit more vertically integrated, so we have like psychiatry, women's health, other types of subspecialty services. But yeah, we're mostly in federally designated underserved areas, and our focus is on prevention and population health.
So you, having grown up with this, that must be amazing. Mom and dad were both doctors?
Yeah, both, lived the American dream, came to this country, dad through Ellis Island. Mom came here from Russia, not knowing anyone. And they met in an emergency room in Livingston, New Jersey, and here I am.
That's what a great story. That's a book, doctor. That's amazing. And God bless them both for being doctors and serving. I mean, they could have gone anywhere and cashed in, and instead they served. East Orange has traditionally been ethnic and relatively lower middle in terms of income. So to stay there and help the community, that says a lot about them and you. And the House recently passed a bill to extend ACA tax credits for 3 years, even though it's already been rejected by the Senate. So what does that vote indicate or suggest to you?
I mean, healthcare, you build a great society on health and education, and healthcare should be, a inalienable right and not a privilege. The ACA is, may extend this for another 3 years at a cost of $80 billion. In theory, the ACA was a good idea. Did it get lost in translation along the way since it came into, enactment? It did. I mean, obviously, these kind of subsidies are really offsetting the cost. It's not really fixing the cause of the cost. I mean, if you look from 2014 to now, healthcare has more than doubled, and we're still going in the wrong direction,
I mean, when you see things like somebody without insurance paying one cost or one expense for something, and then if you have insurance, the insurance bill is 7 times the amount. Clearly, it's illogical. You understand why. We all understand why. It's to offset losses for people who can't pay. But at the same time, it's not sustainable, right? That model can't sustain itself. So do you see people with more rational minds eventually sitting down to try to hammer this out? Because you're right. I don't think anybody with a brain and a heart would look at someone else and say, well, you don't deserve to be taken care of and to be healthy. Anybody with that thought shouldn't be in our society. I'm with you 100%, doctor. The reality is we have expenses. It costs a lot to practice modern medicine. I don't have to tell you. What
Yeah.
should we do? Is it just that the ACA was designed by bean counters and not by doctors?
That's definitely part of it. I mean, we weren't really at the table. We're still not really at the table. I mean, when you look at who has the ear of policymakers, I mean, Ken, it's lobbyists. And I mean,
Hmm.
last year, 4.4 billion was spent on lobbyists, and the largest percent of that was really healthcare related. And insurers, PBMs, hospital systems, private equity, they're really influential at the policy making. And it's kind of ironic. Congress is elected by the people for the people, but they're really only serving more corporate than individual interests.
And then you have, I'm sure in East Orange, you probably have a lot of situations where people are working poor, right? Where they are working, they're struggling, and then so they maybe make too much to get Medicaid rather, but not enough to afford health care. And maybe their employer doesn't do it. Do you come across a lot of patients like that?
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, even like at the strike of the new calendar year, co-pays and deductibles went up. A number of our patients that we saw in November, December, they're showing up and now they're finding out that their deductible has doubled.
Oh,
Their premiums are going up, so they're choosing to opt out because for the most part, they're under the age of 50. They think they're reasonably healthy. And again, insurance is becoming more of a privilege. So it's hard. We talk about a healthy community, and and we are making some good decisions in some areas, but we're not really focusing on the proactive. We're still very much reactive. Emergency rooms oftentimes still serve as primary care. We have shortages. We're talking about bridge and tunnel problems, but we also have a public health, problem when it comes to our institutions and our infrastructure. So it is a bit of a mess, Ken. It is a bit of a mess.
well, I hope that the political parties stop politicizing this and sit down and finally invite medical professionals like yourself to the table so we can hammer this out once and for all because this can't go on. Dr. Alexander Salerno, forgive me for messing that
No
up,
problem.
primary care physician and founder of Nirvana Healthcare. God bless you for what you do serving East Orange. Thank you for coming on this morning. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Ken. Have a great day.
You too. It is 8:28. When we come back, the Giants get a new head coach. Giants host and reporter Paul Dottino will be here to talk about it when we come back.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Very good morning. It is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, a balmy 12 degrees in Trenton at 8:30. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Sunshine this morning, few clouds this afternoon. Very, very cold, though. Highs only in the low 20s, then bitter cold tonight. Lows about 5 above, maybe a little light wind making it feel like 5 below. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Just goosebumps on parts of my body I didn't think could make goosebumps, Mike.
It's true. It's true. And it proves that salt, this is like the rock salt that you throw down to prevent ice from forming, it is pretty ineffective at 15 degrees and lower. So 15 degrees above zero and colder than that, like we have now, that salt's going to laugh at you, especially when you try and throw it on some ice this morning. Give the sunshine a chance to do its job, and you'll see the icicles start to form, and then the black ice into tomorrow morning because there's more cold weather on the way. We have a lot of sun right now across New Jersey, not a cloud, and it will stay that way into this afternoon with the nice dry sunny conditions right down the shore, but temperatures not even going to make it above the freezing mark. There will be plenty of the icicles and black ice forming this afternoon into tonight. Our average high is 40, so we are a far ways away from even just getting to normal with that cold weather sticking around this afternoon. It sets the stage for a very cold period ahead. Let me show you what I'm talking about. With the Futurecast bringing in another round of chilly weather going into tomorrow, there will be some clouds arriving for Wednesday, trying to make it maybe flurry by the afternoon. But again, I think a lot of that moisture dissipates. It's mostly just more dry and cold air that takes over into Thursday afternoon. And then Friday, a system scoots out to sea, probably not going to impact us. Maybe if it comes close enough, the shore points could get a few flakes and flurries, similar to what happened this past Saturday. Now, Saturday night, this is where the fun begins. Look at what happens just off to our south. There is a large swath of snow and ice that extends all the way back into the Midwest. That is our system that could give us a little bit of that accumulating snow by early Sunday morning. So late Saturday night, you see, this is the latest computer model, shows a large area of snow stay just off to our south. Notice the dark shades of blue there over the Delmarva, and they move offshore quickly by Sunday morning. Depending on the timing and the intensity of the storm, I think southern New Jersey has the best chance of seeing the most accumulating snow. Parts of northern New Jersey and even just into, say, Sussex County, it's going to be so cold and so dry that it'll be challenging for those areas of New Jersey to pick up a decent accumulation as it stands now. Now, if the system shifts a couple hundred miles to the north, yeah, we could be talking about more of an accumulation, but right now, I think it's a grazing blow as this goes, and most of this stays out to sea going into Sunday night. So it's a fast-moving system. It's not one of those blockbuster storms because, you know, the upper atmosphere isn't steering in the correct direction where it just dumps snow for several hours. So we'll have to see if that changes, but as of now, I'm not looking at a humongous, like a biblical accumulation, but sizable, at least going into Sunday. Get ready for the cold because it stays really chilly before then. Overnight lows down in the teens and 20s. There's our snow for Sunday, and then into next week, Monday. Still more of the same. That cold remains. The shore points, maybe you get a little bit of warmth through tomorrow and Thursday, trying to make it into the mid-40s, but stays cold beyond that, Ken.
All right, sir. Thank you very, very much. 8:34 is our time. 21 degrees northern New Jersey, but a chilly 12 in Trenton. So we're getting what appears to be a little tiny wind off of the Hudson River, impacting northeastern New Jersey, and that's bringing the temp up a little bit. Highs, though, only a couple more degrees from that, maybe 22, 23 for the day, daytime high. And then tonight, as Mike was saying, just bitter cold. We'll see what happens. Just not a time to walk outside in shorts, as I saw somebody doing yesterday at the market. They walked in wearing sweats on top and shorts on the bottom. All right. That's another story. In terms of traffic, we have speed restrictions. Again, Walt Whitman Bridge, Commodore Barry Bridge, Ben Franklin Bridge, and Betsy Ross Bridge, all connecting New Jersey to Pennsylvania due to black ice on those bridges. We have a problem still on I-78 at 24. This has just been cleared up, you can see, so traffic is starting to move, but you can still see the flashing lights on the side. That was due to an earlier crash that was blocking 2 lanes at one point, but fortunately that has been picked up. We have a disabled vehicle now. This is on I-80 Eastbound, just east of exit 35, Mount Hope Ave and Rockaway, center lane of 4 lanes closed. Disabled tractor trailer now in the GWB. We'll show you that when we show you the GWB traffic. Down pole, Route 23 southbound, Stockholm Vernon Road in Hardiston. All lanes are closed there. Crash on the GSP southbound, south of the Bergen Toll Plaza, Saddlebrook with the left lane closed. And we have a Route 42 crash north of exit 7, and that's causing some delays right now. The Holland and Lincoln tunnels both reporting about 25 to 30 in. GWB upper and lower, we'll take a look now. You could just start to see, it's hard to tell with that lens, but on the lower level, because of the disabled vehicle mid-span, you see one truck going in now. We're told it's up to 15 to 20. We'll see if that builds in the next 15 minutes or so. It is 8:35, turning now to a major development for a major team, Big Blue. The New York Giants have made a splash, hiring former Baltimore Ravens head coach John Harbaugh of course, he's one of the most accomplished coaches available, in a move that could signal, finally, a new direction for the franchise. To break down what this hire means for the Giants, the locker room, and the future of the team, we say good morning to New York Giants host and reporter Paul Dottino. Welcome, Paul. Good to have you on.
Nice to be with you, Ken. I think the blue puffs of smoke that came out of the Giants facility over the weekend are certainly a positive sign.
We could only pray because, my family's been lighting candles. We have like 5 novenas. My father, who is 95, actually said mid-season he was giving up on the Giants for life. And my brother and I said, "You're 95." That really happened. So how significant is this hire for the Giants, and what does it say about where the franchise wants to go?
Well, consider a couple of things. First of all, the good, young, quality talent that they have on the roster at some very key positions made people around the NFL believe that this was maybe one of the top 2 quality openings that would be available. So you combine that with John Harbaugh, who in his 18 years as an NFL head coach with the Baltimore Ravens won 1 Super Bowl, made the playoffs 12 out of 18 times. And I don't think you need to go to Atlantic City to like those percentages, okay? And so he comes here having only won less than 8 games in a season once in his coaching career. So the odds are really good that the Giants will turn things around under him. In fact, he's already been quoted on the record over the weekend as saying he expects to make the playoffs this year. So you better tell your dad that.
I'll tell that. He actually took off, he said, anything that says the Giants on TV, I'm turning it off. He's going to watch cartoons. I said, now it's time to turn off the cartoons. That's a dead serious story. So, of course, Harbaugh, he checks all the boxes. He's the most accomplished free agent head coach, as you point out, available. So he is clearly the guy for the Giants right now. Just to hear him with that positivity right off the top, people cannot underestimate how important it is for a guy at the top, a coach, a head coach, and his leadership skills like that to lead a team, especially with all this new talent. Where do you think it's going to go? Do you think that his prediction will come true?
Well, I think the first thing that has to happen, Ken, he's got to acquire a staff. We know that maybe 1 or 2 of the guys from the old staff this past season may stay for continuity's sake. Oftentimes, a head coach, when he comes into a new situation, will virtually clean house, but keep 1 or 2 around just because they're familiar with the locker room. They've got a conduit to some of the old players in the atmosphere, and they can smooth out some rough edges. So we'll see if he does, in fact, keep 1 or 2 potentially of the offensive assistants from the previous regime. But in all likelihood, he will dip into his own past and try to fill out as much of the coaching staff as possible. And Ken, let's not make any mistake about this. As important as the head coach is in a situation like this, the coordinators, the guys who call the plays on offense and defense, and of course the offensive line coach, which is where everything starts in football, those are critical decisions that Harbaugh is going to have to make because, as we say in the game, he's a CEO coach. He is the guy who's going to oversee everything. He's not going to get into the minutia.
And what do you think about his reputation and track record influencing free agents who may be considering the Giants in the offseason?
Yeah, that's a very important point because the Giants are expected to be in the middle of the pack in terms of available money to sign free agents. And we all know that when you can attract a free agent with a Super Bowl ring, with a winning track record, well, they may be a little bit more likely to come to you than maybe that other team that they're talking to. And who knows, they might even take a little bit less money. And really, when you think about it, the Giants have a few key free agents even on their own roster this year, like Wan'Dale Robinson, who caught over 1,000 yards worth of passes, which for those of you who don't know, that's really, really good. Maybe there's a better chance that he might stay now if he believes that Harbaugh is going to be the real deal.
When do you think we will know the new era under John Harbaugh finally kicks in? When will you be convinced this is it? We got a great season.
Well, there'll be a culture shock right away, much like when Tom Coughlin replaced Jim Fassel, because Harbaugh has a very strong, rigid set of rules. He knows what it takes to win. He's going to implement them right away. So those of us around the team, in the locker room, at the spring practices, we'll notice changes right away. And we'll be like, okay, this train is on the right track. But Ken, I do have to warn you of one thing. Years ago, when Tom Coughlin came in, that first season, it took a while for the players to adjust to the new martial law, if you will. And the Giants did not have a winning record that first year. It was only after the second year that all of a sudden now things started to look really, really bright for the Giants. So the adjustment period could be a little longer, maybe than Harbaugh has predicted, but it wouldn't shock me if they make the playoffs right away. After all, Dan Reeves got the Giants to the playoffs in his first season back in 1993.
Absolutely. It's sort of like riding the Titanic, though, right? As it's going full speed, trying to bring it to a stop. New York Giants host and reporter Paul Dottino, what an honor to have you on. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Oh, great to be with you, Ken. Thank you.
You bet. All right. That was a treat. What a great guy. Amazing. It is now a chilly 12 degrees in Trenton at 8:43. When we come back, the New Jersey Film Festival is back for its 44th biannual edition. Sunshine this morning, few clouds this afternoon. Very cold, though, with highs only in the low 20s. And bitter cold tonight, lows about 5 above. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will return with your full Garden State forecast. And we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings for your Tuesday. Don't go away. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:45, and we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. Sun this morning, maybe a cloud or two this afternoon. Very cold. Highs only in the low 20s and bitter cold tonight. Lows down to the single digits. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will explain with the detailed Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, before we kick into the forecast, I want to remind folks that eyes in New Jersey will be on Mikey Sherrill. She's being sworn in as the state's new governor. This is a live look right now inside NJ PAC. Within an hour and a half or so, we should have a new governor. I believe the inauguration is the ceremony starts at 10, and then I believe the swearing in itself begins at 10:30. So we will have live cameras in there, and we'll bring you updates all day long on New Jersey. Live updates starting again at 10:30, bringing you moments from the inauguration, reactions across the Garden State. So we want to make sure people stay tuned right here. In terms of the cold, people better bundle up if they're headed to NJ PAC today.
All those layers, even just standing outside for a few minutes, you will feel the chill. Single-digit wind chills currently. Actual air temperatures climb to a high of 19 only up in West Milford, 19 in Newton, and 22 there in Newark at NJ PAC. So that chill sticks around all this afternoon into tonight. Our drought extended a little further north into Sussex County over the weekend. Didn't get much in the way of precipitation, just that light round of snow. So yeah, we're now approaching that 1 to 2 inch rainfall deficit just in the last 30 days. The longer range has seen that dry period as well. Look at that deep shade of blue, almost matching the color of the ocean on this map. That's how cold it gets, kind of the coldest there on the scale, with that below average chill lasting through the first week of February. The warmth spreads out west and it stays dry for most of the country, even right there through the Midwest, including here in New Jersey. Doesn't mean we can't get a good snowfall, because I think there's a good chance of that happening later Saturday into Sunday. In fact, the map's just updated for the shore points. I'll show you that in a sec, showing the snow potential arriving Saturday night down the shore. The cold for the rest of the state lingers throughout the rest of this week. The only day we could get noticeably above freezing, that is beyond the 33 degrees tomorrow, is the low 40s on Thursday. The rest of the week stays chilly in the 20s as afternoon highs. And then look what happens down the shore with some of that snow moving in later Saturday night. Yeah, the weather map updating there to show the snowflakes happening as early as Saturday evening, lasting through Sunday down the shore, culminating in a chilly start to next week as well, Ken.
How often do you get to use the word culminating on the air, Mike? I mean, that's it's like, I'm
Great
sorry,
word.
I just
Almost
yes,
$5
I say
words.
I scratch my ear and go, yay, it's just going to end up kind of cold. That's what we say. All right, Mike,
Cousins
thank you
with your
very much, sir.
accumulating snow, cousins, so they're
Yo,
related.
I can't even spell accumulating. All right, Mike, I appreciate you, sir. Go stay warm today. We'll catch you in the morning.
See you
Appreciate you.
tomorrow.
You bet. It is now 12 degrees in Trenton, a balmy 12 degrees. We have 19 in northern New Jersey. And again, that's because we're a little closer to the Hudson River, so we get a little, it's warmer than 19 in the water. When you get the wind blowing off of the Hudson River, that's why you get a little bit of a warm-up effect. That's crazy when you say 19 is a warm-up effect. And again, bitter cold tonight. Reminder, we have speed restrictions connecting on the bridges connecting New Jersey and Pennsylvania, all due to black ice. Walt Whitman Bridge, Commodore Barry Bridge, the Ben Franklin Bridge, and the Betsy Ross Bridge, all speed restrictions because of icing. So please heed that. We take a look over on this is 78, Pam? No, this is 80. Forgive me. We have a couple of things going. This is 80 at exit 35, Mount Hope Ave and Rockaway. Center lane of 4 lanes closed. You can see what that's causing traffic to have. This is the famous camera that we all last year at this point, we were showing you the sinkhole. The sinkhole is long gone, but we do have this issue once again, disabled vehicle on I-80 eastbound by exit 35. Yeah, they took it away right on the air live. They were embarrassed to show that. We have a disabled vehicle, New Jersey Turnpike by Hudson County Extension, westbound west of the Newark Bay Bridge in Newark. All lanes open, though. And we have a disabled tractor trailer now in the GWB. In fact, let's talk about the Hudson River crossings. Lincoln and Holland now 25 to 30 to get in. And the GWB upper and lower level 80 and 95 approaches. Hard to tell with the sun glare there on the dirty lens, but you can see some of the vehicles there. That's by the overpass. That is by 79 over. Yeah, it's hard to see anything there, but we are told that's about a 20 to 25 minute crossover time into Manhattan. It is 8:50. New Jersey Film Festival is back for its 44th biannual edition. This year, the festival will run on select Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, January 23rd to February 22nd, with a hybrid format that brings screenings both in person at Rutgers University and online with video on demand. Professor Albert Nygren is the executive director and curator of the New Jersey Film Festival, something else to make people in New Jersey very proud. He's here to give us a preview of this year's lineup. Good morning to you, Professor Nygren.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, you bet. Well, listen, I'm a grad of Tisch School of the Arts, NYU's film school. So every time we have anything film related like this, I get very excited. It brings me back a few years, 40 years to be exact. First of all, yeah, it's true. Congratulations on the 44th edition, first of all, of this festival. Talk about the history, because that's a big deal for New Jersey.
I started the festival back in 1982 when I was a graduate student at Rutgers. And back then there was no internet. You had to book films on film and show them that way. And I wanted to see a lot of the movies I was reading about as a student. And so I set up a kind of seat of the pants film festival in one of the dormitory classrooms. It was free for the first 10 years. And then it kind of took off once we started showing first run and second run art house movies. And then it evolved. Like 20 years ago, we started doing purely independent stuff.
That's great, because all too often, as we know, independent filmmakers just never get a shot. People roll their eyes. But if you're even mildly into film, this is exciting, because independent filmmakers get creative. They're trying to make their mark, right? They're trying to prove themselves. So they do stuff and they tell stories that the big companies don't care about. They're just going after the bucks. That's why this is so exciting, that you give them a forum and an opportunity. Is there a particular date or a film that we should be looking out for, Professor?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
gosh.
Go ahead.
Everything we're showing is great. We don't show any junk. The very first film that we're showing this Friday is called B.F. Skinner Plays Himself, which is a documentary about the very celebrated psychologist, and the filmmaker is coming to be there to do a Q&A with the audience. And then the second evening, Saturday, before the snowstorm, is going to be 4 documentary shorts by Jersey filmmakers. And one is called Portrait of a Monastery by John Decker, who lives in Ocean, New Jersey. And his really fascinating look at the day in the life of a monastery is a must view, because, you would think, I don't want to see that. No, it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. And it gives you an insight into the mind and the workings of a monastery that most people have no clue what it's about.
That's great. And by the way, I was a priest, so that's another career.
Oh my gosh, you have to come.
Yes. That sounds absolutely fascinating. That would absolutely interest me. And just curious, back when you and I were in film school, you would take out the 16 millimeter camera, right, from the film lab, because they were so expensive and the film was so expensive. Today, that younger people can use video and emulate 16 and 35 millimeter formats and whatnot. With the evolution of equipment, what does that do to the creativity process of creating film today?
Well, we get so much. We got over 600 entries, and we're only showing 4% of what we got. So there's a lot of people making movies. And I must say, the filmmakers that still use film kind of stick out these days, because the look of film is still quite unique. And I think sets them apart from the kind of flat look you have with some of the digital stuff. Although it is getting much, much better. As you said, it's very close to emulating what movies looked like in the past. But I must say, we get a lot of really wonderful films. There's so many films we could have shown that we just didn't have the time and space to include. So there's a lot of people have a lot of good visions out there.
I'm still shocked that people are learning still how to physically cut film. For those who don't realize, today it's all done with a computer keyboard, digital, right? But back in the day, we had to physically cut the film once it came back and you get so excited when it came back from the lab. Even my director, Pam, she did this. You had to physically cut the film and put it on the racks and take down your strip of film. I mean, that was so exciting. You could hear in my voice how exciting that was. It's just not the same anymore, obviously, except for those who still do it.
It's very true. And I think, I still teach a filmmaking class and I teach students on Super 8 film, and we do cut and they get that experience. But I think, the beauty of digital now is that you can shoot on film and then transfer your stuff to digital and still have that kind of look to kind of set it apart from everything else that's out there. And like vinyl, I mean, my students are spinning vinyl. I remember my mom said, you should get rid of your vinyl collection. I said, no, 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 it's going to come back. So I think film may make a comeback as well. Who knows?
Clearly, your students have taste and class. That's a very good thing, very cool thing. Even if nothing more, just to observe the differences between the
Mm.
digital and the vinyl, the analog. It's very, very cool. How
Yeah.
does the new hybrid virtual option work, by the way, and how can we access the films online?
Well, you can go to njfilmfest.com, and when you get to our homepage, you want to click on that tickets info red button underneath where it says New Jersey Film Festival Spring 2026, and you can get access to our website. The pandemic changed everything for us, and we have a wonderful group of people that helped us survive during the pandemic. We have one lady in Oklahoma City who watches everything. So we didn't want to exclude those people from our festival once we went back to in person. So we kept the festival in a hybrid form so that those folks can continue to enjoy those movies, as well as other people as far away as Japan or England. They can look at our films too. And so if people want to buy tickets, they can go to njfilmfest.com. Each individual program is $15, and that usually includes the in-person component as well as the online component. And yes, we have some crazy people that watch the movie during the day and then will come to the in-person screening to interact with the filmmakers, because almost every evening there'll be a film director there that you can interact with, because there's always a Q&A session after the screening.
There's nothing crazy about that. If you're into film, that's awesome. The New Jersey Film Festival running on select Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from January 23rd to February 22nd. Even if you think you might be interested, check it out. This is art in America right here in New Jersey. Professor Albert Nygren, thank you for what you do. Executive Director and Curator of the New Jersey Film Festival. We appreciate you, and thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much, Ken.
You bet, Professor. And let's take a look, if we can, Pam. Let's go back to the inauguration cam in just about an hour. Well, we don't have it up. Darn it. Okay. Well, just a reminder that this morning, starting at 10:30 on New Jersey and all day long, hourly, we'll have updates. We'll be carrying the inauguration of Mikey Sherrill to be the newest governor of New Jersey live. So keep it right here at On New Jersey. Right through the day, we'll have updates throughout. It's absolutely free on our channel. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll see you again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Have a great day.